So your Shopify store is slow, and I can almost guarantee it's because of one of these 5 mistakes I'm about to show you. I build Shopify apps and themes for a living, and I even built a speed diagnostics Shopify app called ThemeLens. So I spend a lot of my time looking at speed metrics and studying Shopify stores. And these 5 problems keep showing up over and over. But here's what surprised me. The mistake that does the most damage is actually not what you'd expect. It's not images, it's not apps. It's something most merchants never even think about, but is silently vacuuming up all their money. And we'll get to that one at the end of this video once I show you how to fix the other things. First, let me walk you through the 4 obvious ones, because there's a good chance at least one of them is costing you money right now. Quick question. How many apps do you have installed on your store right now? 10? 20? Now, how many of those are you actually using? And here's what most people don't realize. Every app you install injects code into your theme. JavaScript files, style sheets, tracking scripts, all of it loads every single time someone visits your store. Okay, so that part makes sense, but here's where it gets ugly. The code doesn't always go away when you uninstall the app. Let me say that again. You can delete an app, remove it completely from your store, and its leftover code is still sitting in your theme files. Still loading, still slowing things down. I've seen stores with 10, 15 lines of this dead code from apps they uninstalled months ago. One store I audited had code from 7 different apps they no longer used. Each one was adding an extra HTTP request, and multiply that across your pages and you're looking at seconds of unnecessary loading time. And it's not just uninstalled apps. How many apps do you have installed right now that you're not actually using? That free app you tried 3 months ago, you forgot about, it's still running scripts on your store. But the worst offenders are actually landing page builders, I found. Apps like Pagefly, Gem Pages, Shogun, these are some of the heaviest apps you can install, and they load massive style sheets and JavaScript files on your store. And here's the part that gets people. Some of them don't just load on the pages you built with them, so the landing pages, they load on every single page. Your home page, your product pages, your collections, all of them are carrying the weight of an entire page builder, even if only one landing page is actually using that page builder. I've audited stores where the landing page builder was actually adding more load time than every other app combined. And sometimes the merchant built one landing page 6 months ago, didn't even use it anymore, and the app was still dragging down the entire store. So here's the fix. Go to your Shopify admin right now, look at your installed apps. If you're not using that app, uninstall it. That's step 1. Step 2 is the part people skip. You have to find the leftover code, and you can do this manually by going into your theme code and searching for snippets or script tags that are referencing apps you've already removed. Check your theme.liquid file and your layout files. If you see references to an app you no longer use, you should delete them. Or, if you don't want to dig through the code, it's probably going to be most of you. This is actually one of the things that ThemeLens does. It scans your theme files and flags app code that's still loading. So dead code. It'll show you exactly which files have that code and what it's doing to your speed. It's way faster than hunting through the liquid files yourself. Either way, stop paying a performance tax for apps you don't even use. So cleaning up dead apps is an easy win. But the next mistake, you're probably making it right now. And here's the crazy part. Every single product you've ever uploaded might be making it worse. Let me paint a picture. You hire a photographer, get beautiful product shots, upload them straight to Shopify. They look amazing. Your store looks professional, but you'll soon realize that your store load speed just tanked. Here's why. That image is 4,000 pixels wide and 5 megabytes. Your product card on the homepage, it displays that image at 400 pixels wide, but the browser still downloads the full 4,000 pixel 5 megabyte file. Now, multiply that by every product image on the page. Your collection page might be loading 30, 40, even 50 megabytes of images that get displayed at a fraction of the actual size. That's like shipping a refrigerator-sized box to deliver a coffee mug. You're wasting bandwidth and killing load time, tanking your core web vitals, especially largest contentful paint, which is LCP, which is the metric Google cares about most for ranking. Here's the fix. 2 things. First, resize your images before uploading. A good rule of thumb is your product images don't need to be wider than 2048 pixels. For most product cards and thumbnails, even 1000 pixels is plenty. You can use a free tool like Squash or Tiny PNG to compress and resize before you upload these. Second, make sure your theme is using responsive images. Most modern Shopify themes use the image_tag filter, which automatically serves different image sizes to different devices. If your theme is older or custom built, it might be loading the full size image for everyone, including people on their phones. So check with your developer or theme documentation. One afternoon of image cleanup can cut your page weight in half. It's the highest impact change you can make. Now, there's a lot more to image optimization than I can cover here. Lazy loading, format selection, Shopify's CDN behavior. It's a whole topic on its own. And if you want me to do a full deep dive tutorial on Shopify image optimization, drop a comment below and let me know. If enough of you want it, I'll make it. And while you're there, hit subscribe so you don't miss it when it drops. Okay, so apps are cleaned up, images are fixed. Your speed is already better, but the next mistake is one you can't even see by looking at your store. It's happening in the code and it's silently blocking your pages from loading. This one is a little bit technical, but I'm going to make it simple because it matters quite a lot. When your browser loads your Shopify store, it reads through the code from top to bottom. And when it hits a script tag, a piece of JavaScript, it has a choice. It either loads the script in the background while continuing to build the page, or it stops everything and waits for the script to fully download and execute before it moves on. The second option is called render blocking, and a shocking number of Shopify apps inject their scripts without the tags that tell the browser it's okay to keep going. No async, no defer, just a hard stop. What that means for your customers is this. They click on your store and the browser starts building your page. Then it hits one of these blocking scripts and just freezes. Nothing renders, nothing appears. Your customer is staring at a white screen while some review widget or analytics tracker finishes loading in the background. And if you've got 3 or 4 of these scripts, they queue up one after the other, each one pausing your entire store. That's why sometimes removing like a single app makes your store feel dramatically faster. It's not just that you removed some weight, you removed a roadblock that was holding everything else up. And then there's fonts. This is the one nobody talks about. Custom fonts are render blocking by default. If your theme loads 2 or 3 Google font families, or even multiple weights of the same font, the browser has to download all of them before it can show any text on the page. Until those fonts arrive, your visitor sees either invisible text or a flash of unstyled text that jumps around when the fonts actually finally come in and load. That's a direct hit to both your LCP, which is largest contentful paint, and your CLS, which is the cumulative layout shift. Most merchants don't even know how many fonts the theme is loading. I've seen stores loading 4 or 5 font families where they only actually just use 1 or 2 in the design. Here's the fix. For scripts, you want to make sure any third-party JavaScript is loaded with async or defer, so it doesn't block your page from rendering. For fonts, check how many your theme is loading and cut it down to what you actually use. 1 font family, 2 weights max is enough for most stores. Now, this is the kind of thing that's really hard to diagnose on your own. You'd have to open your browser's developer tools, dig through the network waterfall, and figure out which scripts are blocking and which fonts are loading. It's exactly the kind of thing that I help Shopify store owners with, so I'll put a link down below in the description. Or if you'd prefer to do it yourself, that's also the kind of thing that ThemeLens flags for you automatically. It identifies the render blocking scripts and unnecessary font loads and tells you which ones to fix first. You don't need to be a developer to fix this, but you do need to know it's happening, and for most stores, it is. So now you know about the invisible stuff slowing your store down, but the next mistake is the sneaky one, because it's something Shopify actually encourages you to do, and the more money you spend, the more you're actually likely to fall for it. This one's tricky because it doesn't feel like a mistake. You bought a premium Shopify theme because it has 40 sections, a mega menu, built-in reviews, slideshow headers, animated scroll effects, countdown timers, all the bells and whistles. But here's a trap. Just because a feature exists in your theme doesn't mean it's free to use. Now let me be clear, not every section you add is going to tank your speed. A basic text block or a static image, barely any impact, but the problem is specific types of sections. So you got carousels and slideshows, which are the biggest offenders. That homepage slideshow that you have that's rotating with 5 banners, it's pulling in a JavaScript carousel library, sometimes a heavy one, and loading all 5 images up front, even though the visitor only ever sees the first one. That's a ton of weight for something most people just like swipe past. Mega menus are another one. A 3-level dropdown with animated transitions is running JavaScript on every single page load, even if nobody even hovers over it. Same with animated scroll effects, countdown timers, and any section that uses motion or interactivity. And then there's the compounding effect. Even if each individual section isn't loading its own JavaScript, stacking 15 or 20 sections on one page means more HTML, more CSS, more liquid rendering on Shopify servers. The page gets heavier. It's not one section that will kill you, it's the pileup. Here's the fix. Audit your homepage and landing pages. Ask yourself 2 questions. For every section, is this actually helping me sell? And could I get the same result with something simpler? So for example, that slideshow, you can replace that with a single hero image and a strong headline. Conversion data consistently shows static images actually outperform carousels anyway. And you just cut a JavaScript library and 4 extra images from your load. And that animated scroll effect, it kind of looks cool, but adds weight and often breaks your CLS score. Be ruthless. Simpler pages load faster, and faster pages convert better. The irony is that removing features often improves both speed and sales. Alright, apps, images, render blocking code, sections. Those are the 4 you can fix right now. But remember what I said at the start. The biggest mistake isn't actually any of those. It's something more fundamental. It's the reason most merchants spin their wheels for weeks and weeks without their speed score moving at all. So here it is, the mistake behind all other mistakes. You've been thinking about page speed as a Google problem, a number to get higher, a score to chase, but that's not what speed is about. Nobody has ever pulled out their credit card because your page speed score went from 40 to 70. Speed matters for one reason and one reason only: conversions or sales. When your store is slow, people leave before they buy. That's it. That's the whole game. Every single millisecond of load time is either helping someone get to checkout or giving them a reason to leave. Speed isn't a vanity metric, it's a revenue metric. And once you think about it that way, the question changes. It's not how do I get a better score, it's what is actually making my store feel slow to the person trying to give me money. And the answer 9 times out of 10, it's going to be your theme. Think about it. Your app sits on top of your theme. Your images get loaded through your theme. Your sections, your layout, your checkout flow, it all runs through your theme's code. The theme is the foundation. Everything else is just furniture. If your theme is well built, clean code, fast rendering, no bloat, then the apps and images and sections we talked about earlier, they're minor problems, easy to fix. But if your theme's code is slow, heavy, poorly written, you're fighting an uphill battle. You can optimize images all day. You can strip out every app and your store will still feel sluggish because the thing running it all was never built for speed in the first place. This is something I see constantly. Merchants are spending weeks doing all the right optimizations and the needle barely moves. Then they switch themes and suddenly everything is faster. Same product, same app, same images, different foundation. So the question you should really be asking isn't, how do I speed up my store? It's, is my theme holding me back? And that's actually a big question because not all themes are built the same. Some of the most popular themes on the Shopify theme store have serious performance problems under the hood. They look really great in the demo, but the code underneath is bloated. I'm actually working on a video right now where I'll compare the top Shopify themes head to head on performance. Real benchmarks, real code analysis. I break down which ones are actually fast and which ones are just pretending to be fast. If you want to see that video when it drops, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss it. So a quick recap. Dead app code, oversized images, render blocking scripts and fonts, bloated theme features, and not realizing your theme is the thing that matters most. Fix those 5 and you're ahead of 90% of Shopify stores. And if you don't want to figure all this out on your own, that's exactly what Theme Lens is for. It scans your store, finds the problems we talked about today, phantom app code, render blocking scripts, font issues, everything. And it gives you a step-by-step list of fixes in order of impact. So you don't have any guesswork. You just open it up, install the app, follow the steps and watch your speed improve. I'll drop a link in the description. And if you wanted my help with implementing any of the fixes, I'll leave a link down below in the description as well. And if you want to see that theme comparison video I mentioned, make sure you're subscribed and I'll see you in the next one.